something that, at least in numeral form, they have paid operatives looking for, and so to come in to try to disrupt. And I take that, by the way, their efforts to disrupt conversations, I take that as evidence, if not proof, that what we are doing in talking is effective. And so it gives me great reassurance that talking is not just jibber jabber, but it has to be jibber jabber. It has to be the right kind of talking. Anything that helps, and it mightn't necessarily seem like it's completely pertinent at all times, it can still help people. If it helps anybody who's struggling, either financially or I suppose like spiritually is the best word. I was going to say mentally, psychologically, that sort of stuff. Also, if they're suffering from a kind of a loneliness, and if that would be tied in oftentimes with either drinking too much or obviously it could be any kind of drugs, but anything that's keeping a man subjugated mentally is going to prevent him from being, figuratively speaking, of course, a good soldier out there for what there used to be no shame whatsoever in saying what would be to fight the good fight. I mean, that was a Christian saying, to say fight the good fight. It meant a spiritual battle. And spiritual means like of the mind in that sense. And the way, there's that phrase, like it's not the size of the fight in the man, but it's I did it wrong there. It's not the size of the man in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the man. And that kind of amounts to the same thing. Like if a man is broken spiritually, mentally, emotionally, psychically, psychologically, then he's no good. Even if he's 6'6" tall and 6'6" wide, he might be as timid as a mouse then. And if he can't assert himself in public, he's no good really physically, but he can be restored. And that's what the purposes of, I think, what the main purpose, broadly speaking, of those kind of, I say identitarian, to keep it a little bit more general at the outset, those kind of groups to bolster each other spiritually, mentally, that even though none of us might ever meet, but that we give each other a sort of a bolstering, we give each other a metaphorical high five or a hand on the shoulder and say, listen, you're not alone. We've all been there. We all feel despair and we all have felt despondent at times, but we're still here. And while we're here, we can't give up. And what gives people, I think, legitimate reason not to give up, and what gives people true hope, not hope based on nothing, is that the knowledge that we are not alone. We're not the only person in this world who sees what's going on and does not like it, to say the least, and feels like maybe that he would be willing to give his life to restore some kind of spiritual and mental health to his people and the world, but that he is, and I'll speak for myself now, I have been filled with angst that there is no people worth saving. But I don't believe that anymore. I see that there are people out there who are worth saving. And so that's why I'm going to stick around and do whatever I can, you see.